Well, first of all, I'm very disappointed. I mean, look, as somebody who is irresponsibly long Bitcoin and has most of his net worth in Bitcoin and Abra stock, anything that promotes Bitcoin, I'm happy about. But the federal government. I won't pick on the states because some of them are getting it right. The federal government is batting 1,000 when it comes to this stuff. They get it wrong every fucking time. and to create a futures-based ETF as the first product, I'm sorry, it's just so dumb because the average retail investor has no idea what they're buying. Mm-hmm. If you explain to them like, okay, do you know what contango means in terms of what's happening? Their heads will spin. And these are the people
think it's a dance move.
Right, it's the dance move, exactly. And they just put over $1 billion in this in 36 hours. It makes no sense, right? But that's the overlords telling us that they're going to protect us from ourselves, right? As opposed to actually creating a spot product where you can actually audit the custody and send in the IRS to do their BSA audits and whatever it is that they do to protect retail investors and create a damn spot. And I actually don't think we're going to get a spot ETF anytime soon because I think they still believe they're going to protect us from ourselves, which makes no sense.
How do you think about these people coming into the market with trillions of dollars and Bitcoin today sitting at near an all-time high? Is this something where it has a short-term impact or is it the long-term play?
Well, I still think we get those kind of the volatility via futures markets that the retail investors mostly don't understand. Meaning, if there's so little Bitcoin on exchanges that everybody talks about supply shocks, Will comes on, talks about supply shocks, why the hell does the price go down 20% on occasion, right? Why doesn't it just keep going up in a straight line? Well, you have this tension between, overbought futures and liquidations that happen, and the fact that spot basically has a supply shock, a permanent supply shock now, right? I think what's going to happen is as the price and the market cap goes up, futures' ability to have a short-term big impact on pullbacks is going to get diminished, and then you're going to basically see the price just go up to a point where even stock to flow and other kind of on-chain economic models don't really do much anymore. And that's when the floodgates are really opened because it becomes a negative feedback loop where institutions are now going to be motivated to buy because you're going to have a $4 trillion asset, a $5 trillion asset, and all those other metrics are going to go out the window. Futures won't matter anymore. Then it'll be about macroeconomic black swan events. Is the United States going to war with China? That will drive pullbacks at that point when it really does start to replace fixed income. And I think we're several years away from that happening.
How high can Bitcoin's price go?
Well, if it becomes the collateral for the future of fixed income, I mean, in today's dollars, that's 100 trillion. But at that point, I don't know if the measurement in dollars matters anymore. We would measure Bitcoin in Bitcoin, right? Meaning this item costs this many sats, right? At that point, who cares what a dollar is worth? Now, business may still use the dollar. Like, I think Michael Sale and I, we've talked about this, he and I, a few times. I think we disagree a little on this. He thinks the dollar is going to be around forever. I'm not so sure, right? But, at some point, you certainly can see it becoming the collateral for all of these debt obligations, which puts it in today's terms at well over $100 trillion.
So that would put Bitcoin, no public math, but about $5 million or more per Bitcoin.
Yeah, you get to the point where it's like on par, sats are on par with pennies and dollars, right?
Yeah.
Which is an order, or a couple orders of magnitude from where we are now.
So basically, you're talking about if Bitcoin becomes the collateral for the fixed income market, everyone takes their fixed income and says, hey, this is all trash. I'm going to go and I'm going to move to this new asset. When they do that, if we get to 100 trillion or so that comes into the market, we're at $4.5 million Bitcoin price. You think that's like a next 5-year thing, or that's like a 15-year thing?
No, that's a 15-year thing. It'll certainly replace gold in market cap long before then, but that's not the big play. That's not the measuring or yardstick that matters to me personally, right? Because to me, it's about the future of the internet, having money for the internet first and foremost. And we're there now, right? Lightning is working, and if you look at other crypto models, stable coins are working, layer 2s are working across the board. We'll see if they scale quickly or if it takes a few years, but the software engineers will figure it out. And then ultimately it's about dealing with this late stage debt cycle and how we, China is worrying me right now, right? And so
Why?
How do we, well, I mean, if you look at the moves that they're making in terms of, just pulling in capitalism, looking at how to manage resources, because I think that the planners, the people who plan ahead there believe that we're about to have a massive resource supply shock on this planet, and they're preparing for a fight. I really believe that they think that the worst case scenario is a fight over global resources. And if you look at the investments they're making in Africa and other places, we're asleep at the wheel, totally asleep at the wheel. The US, Europe, nobody gets it, right? Everybody's fat and happy right now and not paying attention to the big picture. And I hope that this global movement towards decentralization that we're in the middle of saves us, but it's not guaranteed.